The expression of authentic gratitude is perhaps the easiest, the least expensive, and the most effective way to boost employee engagement and retention in our organizations. But just saying thank you to our employees, even if we do that on a regular basis, isn't going to be enough. It's not going to be sending the messages that they need to hear on a regular basis to feel like you're thankful for them. And so what I want to do today is to share some of my favorite strategies for communicating gratitude and ultimately building relationships with your team members. Hi there, welcome to People Ops Problems. I'm Leanne, and I specialize in helping leaders and organizations engage and retain and develop their employees. And today we're going to talk about gratitude. Now, admittedly, at the filming of this video, it is Thanksgiving week, and so I'm wearing one of my Thanksgiving sweaters, but I realize that you may be watching this video during a time that is not Thanksgiving week. But spoiler alert, it's always a great time for gratitude. So we're gonna jump in and talk a little bit about the science of gratitude, why it's so important in our organizations, and perhaps most importantly, how to start developing a culture of gratitude in our workplace. So there was a study conducted just a few years ago of over 2,000 employees and really just humans, and they were wanting to discover where are the places in our lives where we go, where we express and feel that others are expressing towards us gratitude. And sadly, the workplace ranked the lowest of all the places that we go statistically where we feel appreciated and where we receive messages and also send messages of gratitude. The workplace ranked dead last. Also, only 10% of the adults surveyed said that they express gratitude to others every day at work. And that's just the kind of thing that keeps me up at night. So we know that when organizations do a good job of communicating gratitude and sending those messages of praise and recognition, all sorts of positive things start happening. Higher employee engagement and retention, higher overall well-being for our employees and managers, right? We see higher profitability, we see higher productivity, we see all sorts of amazing things happen when we build a culture of recognition and a culture of gratitude. It's easier said than done sometimes. In theory, that sounds great, building a culture of gratitude, but what does that look like to actually do that in our organizations? And so what I want to do is share with you some of my favorite strategies for building a culture of recognition and gratitude. Number one is that you have to adopt a new mindset when it comes to gratitude and praise and recognition, which that's perhaps a topic for a different video. But in general, you want to move away from thinking about communicating gratitude in an episodic way, right? Where it's just kind of one thing at a time we communicate gratitude about, and we want to move to a model or a mindset that's more about continuous gratitude that actually becomes a rhythm in our organizations. And there are a lot of different ways to do that, but I recommend for your organization and your context to start thinking about what are the rhythms that we could adopt in our organization to continually communicate gratitude. So there are a lot of ways that you can do that. You can use some HR technology that prompts your people to communicate gratitude to one another, that prompts you as leaders to communicate gratitude, to give specific and concrete, individualized praise and recognition to employees. There are a lot of great tools out there. Send me a message if you want to know my recommendations on that, because there's a lot of great stuff out there. But really at the end of the day, the tool isn't even what matters the most. It's that you as leaders are figuring out ways to move from an episodic view of communicating gratitude to where it is embedded in the rhythms of our organization, right? So that's kind of the first thing I want you to think through is how might we move into a model where we're thinking about this on a regular basis. And then that's sort of the organizational strategy. And I realize that's a little bit broad. What I want to talk more about is you and your individual communication when it comes to gratitude. So we know that for somebody to say, hey, thanks, Leanne, I think you did a great job. That might mean something to me, at least temporarily. But it's a completely different story when I feel like either my supervisor or my colleagues are sending me concrete and individualized messages that say, we value you, we see you, we hear you, we understand you. And so when it comes to your one-on-one communication with your employees, here are a couple of my recommendations. One, it's gotta be concrete and specific. again, good job. You nailed it yesterday in that meeting, right? I appreciate you. Can go a little ways, but it's not going to help you build that culture of recognition and authentic gratitude. Instead, imagine a scenario where you pull over a colleague in the hall or ask them to stick on after a Zoom call, and you communicate a specific, concrete thing that they did that brought value to your organization or to you in your role. So the more concrete and specific that you get, the better. It's the difference between saying something like, great job in that meeting yesterday, I appreciate your comments, right? Which is a nice thing to say. And then saying, hey, I want you to know that the way that you synthesize information so quickly, the way that you spot patterns in data, it is exactly what our team needed yesterday in that meeting, and we are so grateful to have you on our team. We couldn't have come to the conclusion that we did yesterday without your input, right? It's the difference between that first one and that second one. It's the difference between saying thank you and communicating in concrete and specific ways how valuable that person is on your team. So that's sort of the first thing to think about there is how can I be very concrete and specific? Secondly, you want to think about how individualize to the uniqueness of your team member. Ask them, hey, how do you like for us to express our gratitude for you? And you'll be shocked at all the different kinds of answers that you get. In fact, I often share a story of when I was young. I remember, I think I scored like maybe highest on a test or something in grade school. And I remember a teacher asking me to stand up, and I had no idea why, and I was already sort of sweating profusely, but they asked me to stand up, and then they had such good intentions, for the class to sort of recognize me and to express gratitude for how hard I worked on this, but I just wanted to crawl into a hole and never be seen again, right? So my point in sharing that pseudo embarrassing story is to tell you that you want to ask your team members how they prefer to be recognized, how they prefer to have gratitude expressed, and then do everything in your power to communicate in ways that align with their preferences and their personalities and their strengths. Another thing I want to tell you with respect to communicating gratitude is, as much as possible, try to connect what you're saying, the message you're sending, to either one of their talents and strengths or to a value of the organization, to the mission, the vision of the organization, because in doing so, you kind of kill a few birds with one stone, right? That you're sending those messages of gratitude, but you're also filling them with purpose and with energy around the mission on a regular basis. So again, it's moving from that episodic nature to that continuous nature. Now, practically, there are a lot of ways that you can communicate gratitude. I love a good handwritten note. I love a good, very concrete, Slack or Teams message. I love when a leader records a video, a quick video, and sends it to a team member, highlighting something that they've done, or even highlighting it to the team if that's the way that they prefer to, have gratitude expressed or praise or recognition expressed. I also love when organizations think about how they can anticipate the needs of their employees. So just today, at the time of this video, someone in my family sent me a text message because they know I geek out about this kind of stuff. They sent me a message that said, look, my husband's employer sent us a gift card and said, to show our appreciation for you during this time of year, here's a gift card that you can use at Walmart to help purchase your holiday meal. And that could seem like a small gesture, but what it communicates is we've anticipated your needs and we value you. And so those are just a couple of things I wanted you to think about with respect to gratitude at the time of this video, thinking through Thanksgiving. But again, if you're watching any other time of the year, please know it still applies. Gratitude isn't a holiday. It shouldn't be a holiday. It's something that we should be doing every single day in the workplace. So there you have it. Just a couple of my best strategies for communicating gratitude in the workplace. As always, thanks for being here. If you found this content helpful and engaging, please like and subscribe and do all the things and share it so that other leaders who might benefit can find it. And I will see you next time. I hope you have a wonderful Thanksgiving.